Birds of Prey is flopping spectacularly, and frankly, most people saw it going this way, except maybe Warner Brothers, and that is the problem. This video is brought to you by Tara Zahn, one of our executive producers via Patreon. Hey everybody, it's Josh from the future. After recording this video, Warner Brothers came out and literally changed the title of this movie from Birds of Prey to Harley Quinn, Birds of Prey. Now, this doesn't change much. I don't think it's really going to affect the box office much at all. It doesn't change a lot of the things that we had to talk about in this video, but it is interesting. It's literally one of the weirdest things I've ever seen in movies, for a movie to flop terrifically and then change the name of itself on the marquees and everything like that. Just shows that good old Warner Brothers retroactive decision making. It's kind of amazing. So just wanted to update you about that. Yes, we know about it, and yes, it's ridiculous. No, it will not save the box office for this film. So look, everybody, you've seen the news. You don't need me to repeat it, but I'm going to. Birds of Prey is flopping really hard, even worse than a lot of people thought it actually would. Now, a couple of weeks ago, Tara Zahn and myself collaborated on a video where we were talking about the things that DC keeps getting wrong, and we were holding up Birds of Prey as a perfect example of the things that they kind of keep getting wrong. Many of you got angry about that video. Some of you got really vocal in the comments section and called both Tara and myself, but really mostly me, a big DC hater. You said that it was way too soon to make calls like that, and that we were probably getting some stuff wrong about the film, and we shouldn't talk about it until after we had seen it. Now, I want to tell you guys that you literally bullied us into seeing this film. I had no intention of seeing this movie, but you guys were literally so mean about it in that last DC video that both Tara and myself did go see Birds of Prey. So I guess the lesson is, like, bullying works. And what's really strange about this whole thing is Tara and I were both actually pleasantly surprised with the film, thinking that it was way better than we thought it was going to be and way better than we heard it was. For the record, I liked it way more than she did. I actually kind of really liked it. Now, I'm going to be super upfront. We were actually wrong about a couple of things, and there was some merit to what some of you guys were saying in the last video. There was a few things that we made assumptions about that we were wrong about. Number one was Black Mask. Like, Black Mask was amazing in Birds of Prey. We both really liked the portrayal, and we were both really pleasantly surprised with the portrayal of Zaz as well. And Tara and I both seem to be in a minority of people that actually think that the girl power and the representation stuff in this film was actually handled better than even a film like Captain Marvel. In my opinion, it was handled way better in the film than it was even handled in the marketing for the movie. Now, on a quick side note, most of the assumptions that we had made about that film weren't just pulled out of the ether. They were all based on plot leaks that had happened over a year ago and some of the reports coming out about the extensive reshoots that were happening for the film. And according to a lot of the people that are leaking stuff now, it would appear that Walter Hamada actually came onto this project late and put this film back together after the reshoots. And this is kind of incredible because if this is true, this guy deserves like an award. Because frankly, if Birds of Prey makes any money at this point, it will make it because of word of mouth and positive word of mouth from people like me that were actually pleasantly surprised by it. So hooray for Walter Hamada. Honestly, he made lemonade out of lemons. Now, while Tara and I may have been wrong about a few things regarding the film itself, we definitely weren't wrong about the very small amount of interest coming from DC fans and regular comic book movie fans for the film. The film was already projected to come in at about a third of what the Suicide Squad movie opened at, and it actually opened $20 million under that mark. Even though we think the movie is way better than we thought it was going to be, it is super clear that DC fans were not interested in this movie. The film didn't seem to really market towards DC fans, and frankly, even though I really like the movie, it doesn't respect DC characters or the DC universe at all. I personally think it's totally fine to go after a female audience. It's even fine to go after an audience that really cares about representation. But what I'm confused about is why you would only want to go after that audience. Why would you market the film in a way that cuts off a large portion of the fan base? There are a lot of DC fans and a lot of comic book movie fans that would have went to see a Birds of Prey movie had it been structured differently and had it not been so girl power in its marketing. Like, legitimately, when I came out of the movie and I realized I liked it as much as I did, I was actually more upset at Warner Brothers because this actually could have been a great film for all DC DC fans and really expanded the universe and helped out the DCEU. And instead, it's going to end up really hurting the DCEU and possibly hurting a lot of the female talent that worked on the movie. Now, the obvious comparison here, and this is a comparison we made in the previous video, is all about Captain Marvel. Again, both Tara and I actually think that Birds of Prey handles the girl power stuff in a better way than even Captain Marvel. Now, Tara really didn't like Captain Marvel. I believe she likes Birds of Prey even more than Captain Marvel. I'm not at that stage. I actually think Captain Marvel is a better movie than most people give it credit for, but some of the girl power stuff in Captain Marvel is really cringy. I legitimately thought it was handled better in Birds of Prey. But either way, you can't argue with $1 billion freaking dollars. Captain Marvel, despite being a movie that easily could have been marketed in a way that wasn't for regular comic book fans or male comic book fans that just don't care about girl power, because I'm sorry, that's just real. You don't have to care about it. You don't have to dog on it, but you don't have to care about it. Yeah, those fans were marketed to with Captain Marvel. It had Sam Jackson, a young Nick Fury. It had Phil Coulson. It had the Kree and the Skrull for the first time on screen in the Marvel Cinematic Universe, and it was wedged in between Infinity War and Endgame with a character that would be showing up in Endgame to help our heroes. So why would DC make this movie the way they made it and market it the way they marketed it? Well, frankly, Tara said it best in her notes to me about this video. She said the overarching issues that she has with DC is that they lack focus, identity, direction, and certainty. And I think all of these things really tie together, but basically there's just no overarching draw for people to continue to show up to these DC films other than if they're just really into whatever property DC is focusing on for that particular movie. It goes back to a branding thing. DC doesn't understand the brand of the characters and the IP that they have, and they also don't understand how to put that vision for that brand onto the silver screen in a consistent way. I know it's been said a million times, but they lack someone like a Feige. I mean, there's just so much throwing stuff at the wall to see what works. And it's not even that they for sure need a shared universe. They don't need a shared universe, but they need clarity. They need to at least explain to people, is there a shared universe or not? Like, if it's all going to be separated and it's all going to be like filmmaker driven stories and just those kind of films, that's totally fine. But I think you need to find a better way to clearly explain that to the audience, because at this point, the goodwill that a brand would have had they established this kind of a relationship with their fans is just gone. Like, nobody's really shelling out to go see these films trying to see how the whole DCEU fits together. Now, not all hope is lost for DC. Obviously, they've got Wonder Woman coming out. Apparently, they're working on Shazam 2, Black Adam, and we will be getting something with J.J. Abrams. Maybe Justice League Dark is the big report out there right now, so that could be really interesting. Of course, Greg Berlanti is developing stuff for HBO Max. He's done the CW shows, so they've got stuff that's working. But overall, their big tentpole films are just not really doing it. They're not capturing the same audience and the same loyalty that the MCU is capturing. Like, I am excited for the Batman, but I would be more excited if I either knew for sure that the Batman was a reboot, was its own separate thing, or was actually somehow connected to all of these other stories. If I just had some clarity on it, I could curb my expectations, and then I'd get more excited for whatever Batman is actually going to be. I'm sure they can turn it around. I hope they do turn it around, but it's frankly painful watching them make these decisions and watching them have just a lack of success and a lot of failures. I mean, this trend with DC is not a good trend. And I know they've had some good movies. Shazam was good. Aquaman was good. But even though I think Birds of Prey is a good movie, I'm in the minority there, honestly, with fans. A lot of fans think it's absolute trash. Some fans think it's okay. Many people I've talked to say it's probably just okay. But it's bombing at a spectacular level. It might put future projects with Harley Quinn in trouble. They might now want to distance themselves from the Birds of Prey that they just established. Like, it's just like a train wreck over there. But that's it, guys. Sort of our response or our re-version of why DC keeps screwing up after the film has actually come out. We have actually seen it, and it is actually doing a lot of what we said it was going to do in the box office. So let us know your thoughts about this. Are you surprised that I actually liked Birds of Prey? Do you think I'm lying? Because I'm not lying. I actually legitimately liked it. Do you still think we're just big DC haters? cares? Whatever you're thinking about this, let us know in the comment section below. Again, I want to remind everybody this video was produced by Tara Zahn via our Patreon, and the Patreon support is amazing. It really helps us out here on the channel, helps us grow, take chances, get equipment if stuff breaks. It's really helpful to us. So if you're interested in going over and supporting us and also getting some of the exclusive content over there, go check out the Patreon today. Now let's shout out Night Fist. Indeed, the chameleon is related to Kraven the Hunter in Marvel Comics. So shout out to you, Night Fist. And now let's ask another nerd card question before we get out of here. I want to know, what are the names of Harley Quinn's hyenas in the comics? She actually has 2 of them in the comic books, and they're not named Bruce, either one of them. So what are the names of the hyenas in the comics? Answer that question in the comment section below. As I always say, I hope you're having an awesome and a nerdy day, and I'll see you in the next video.